The forest around them shifted as they stepped onto the hidden trail revealed by the glowing shard. The entrance, once tangled with vines, now seemed to draw itself open, welcoming yet unsettling. The air turned colder and the usual night sounds fell away. No crickets, no owls, just silence and the echo of their own footsteps on the narrow, root-covered path. Zoey led the group, her amulet still glowing faintly under her hoodie. Behind her, Alina walked with steady focus, holding the memory shard like a compass. Milo followed closely, glancing nervously at the dark shapes among the trees. Luna stayed beside him, one hand gripping the straps of her backpack and the other holding Zoe's sleeve. As they moved deeper, the trees grew older and taller, their branches twisting overhead like giant hands blocking out the moonlight. The deeper they went, the more the air buzzed with invisible tension. "Why is it called the Path of Echoes?" Luna whispered, her voice barely above a breath. Alina didn't look back. "Because it remembers." "Remembers what?" Milo asked. "Everything," Alina replied. "Every secret spoken, every lie told, every truth buried." Zoe paused for a moment. "So, it can hear us now?" Alina nodded. "Yes. So speak only what matters." They walked in silence after that, choosing each step with care. The trail began to change. Stones beneath their feet became smoother, as if walked by many before them. Strange markings began to appear on tree trunks, glowing softly in green and blue. Spirals, eyes, keys. Milo reached out to one. "What are these?" Alina examined the symbol. "These are guide marks left by past keepers. They tell you where to step and where not to." Suddenly, a low hum began to rise from the ground. It vibrated through their shoes, up their legs, and into their bones. Zoe looked down. The spiral beneath her foot was glowing brighter. "I think it's reacting to me," she said. Alina stepped forward. "Stand still." She held the memory shard over the spiral. The hum rose, and then, with a flash, the symbol projected an image into the air above them. Faint, ghostly, but real. A young woman stood in the projection. She wore the same amulet as Zoe, and in her hand was the same crystal. "Who is that?" Luna gasped. Zoe stared at the figure.
The image of Zoe's grandmother faded into sparkles of light that floated upward and vanished between the twisting branches. For a moment, no one moved or spoke. The forest, too, seemed to hold its breath. Zoe knelt down and pressed her hand against the spiral. "The truth is beneath the roots," she repeated, her voice low. "What could that mean?" Alina crouched beside her, running her fingers over the dirt. "It's not just a clue," she whispered. "It's a key." Suddenly, the ground beneath them shifted with a deep groan. A patch of moss-covered earth ahead of them cracked open, revealing a small stone staircase spiraling downward. The air that rushed up from the opening was ancient, cool, musty, and filled with the scent of old secrets.
going down there, are we? Milo forced a grin. We didn't sneak out at night and hike through whispering woods to stop now. Zoe stood, her face pale but determined. Let's go. One by one, they descended the stairs, their flashlights barely piercing the darkness. The stone steps were slick with moisture and worn smooth by time. Echoes of their movement bounced off unseen walls in odd, distorted tones, as if the cave were listening and mimicking their every move. At the bottom, they stepped into a small cavern lit by glowing fungi that clung to the walls in soft purples and greens. Strange carvings covered every surface, more spirals, interwoven with what looked like vines, feathers, and tiny hands. Milo moved toward one of the walls, tracing a vine pattern. This place, it feels alive. Alina nodded. It is. These caves are part of the forest's memory. They store pieces of the truth that were too dangerous to keep above ground. In the center of the cavern stood a low stone pedestal. Resting on top was a wooden box, no larger than a lunchbox, bound shut with a lock shaped like an eye. Zoe approached it slowly. This has to be it, the eye. The moment her hand touched the box, the room reacted. The carvings on the walls began to glow, spinning patterns dancing around them. A deep, pulsing heartbeat echoed from the walls. Then came a whisper. Not a voice, a whisper. Barely audible. The silence that followed the lock's fall was heavier than anything they'd felt all night. Zoe stood frozen, her hand hovering above the lid. The box seemed to pulse under her fingers, as if it had a heartbeat of its own, waiting, expecting. Milo stepped closer. We have to see what's inside. It could explain everything. Alina held up her hand. Wait! They turned to her. This isn't just a container. It's a seal, she said. Opening it might release more than just answers. But we've come this far, Luna said quietly. What if this is what we were meant to find? Zoe closed her eyes for a moment, steadying her breath. If there's a price, I'll pay it, but not blindly. Carefully, she opened the lid. Inside, cushioned in layers of soft black fabric, lay a crystal sphere about the size of a tennis ball. It shimmered with swirling lights inside, blue, gold, violet, like tiny storms trapped in glass. Beneath the sphere, folded neatly, was a small, aged note. Zoe picked it up and read aloud. Only those who remember what was lost can guard what remains. Look beyond the veil. Listen to what was silenced. Aramid. As she spoke the last word, the lights in the sphere intensified. A thin beam of light shot from its surface onto the far wall of the cavern, revealing a new carving, one that hadn't been visible before. The carving was of an enormous eye, with trees and stars reflected inside it. Beneath it, a spiral-shaped key. Alina stepped forward, inspecting the symbol. It's the gate of knowing, she whispered. Mino tilted his head. That's a thing? It's a portal, Alina said slowly. But not the kind you step through with your body. Luna frowned. Then how? With memory, Alina replied, her voice trembling. The sphere stores them, guides them, but it also takes them. To pass the gate, we must each give something, a memory. Zoe's eyes widened. You mean we'll forget something? Alina nodded. Yes, a moment, a feeling, maybe even a face. We won't choose what's taken. The weight of her words filled the cavern. The four stood in stillness, looking at the sphere. It pulsed again, as if acknowledging what had been said. The question hung in the air, unspoken but loud. Was the truth worth forgetting a part of themselves? Nobody moved for a long time. The glowing sphere sat still in its velvet cradle, quietly humming. It seemed alive, waiting for a decision. Zoe sat cross-legged on the stone floor and looked at the others. We came to find the truth. We asked for it. And now it's asking something back. Milo rubbed his face, then laughed nervously. Losing a memory? That's like losing a part of yourself. What if I forget my dad's voice, or the time I built my first robot? Luna's eyes welled with tears. I'm scared. I don't want to forget anything. Zoe looked at Alina. Have you done this before? Alina nodded slowly. Once, a long time ago. She glanced away. I don't remember what I lost. That's the deal. But I know it mattered. The weight of that statement settled on them all. Zoe took a deep breath. Maybe we can leave it here. Not use it, just walk away. But the moment she spoke those words, the sphere dimmed slightly, and so did the glowing fungi on the walls. The warmth of the cavern began to fade. A rumble shook the ground. No, Alina said sharply. Now that it's open, it won't allow inaction. If we turn away, the truth will bury itself again, maybe forever. Zoe reached into her pocket and pulled out her locket. Inside was a picture of her family, her mom, Dad, and Grandma. She stared at it for a long time. I want to remember this, she whispered. But I need to know what we're protecting, what this all means. And with that, she touched the crystal sphere. A sudden warmth surged through her, and her eyes fluttered closed. In an instant, a memory slipped away, quietly, gently, like a leaf drifting down a stream. She didn't know what it was. She just knew something was gone. When she opened her eyes, the beam of light from the sphere widened into a curtain of swirling mist, revealing the gate of knowing etched on the far wall, now glowing, pulsing, alive. One by one, Milo, Luna, and Alina stepped forward and touched the sphere. Each flinched slightly, their breath catching as memories were taken. Then, as one, they turned toward the gate. The spiral key